Well, we'll see how this works. I am recording with that little Lenovo tablet, which I don't, I think I recorded one time with it, but then I edited it and uploaded my normal way. But I think I can upload right straight from it, but I don't know, what the quality will be like. But I'll try it anyway. Um, I was going to say, I run into something, well, I had run into this before. The one time when I was in the little local store, this was about like 3 weeks ago. I was surprised to find they'd run out of eggs. And this has never happened before. But then, the next Friday they got eggs in and everything was fine again. But now I was just in there today and I was surprised to see, because the last time I bought eggs, they were like $1.50 or something maybe. Well, now was $4.54 a dozen. Evidently, eggs are in great demand. We have as many eggs as we used to. It's just that people are using them more or buying them more. No, which was a little surprising. But that has driven the price of eggs up. And it isn't that the stores are jacking the price up on them, because it's one of them things that are limited. They can only make, like, I think it's 10% profit on certain things like butter, milk, eggs. So they ain't making the money. But evidently the egg producers, since there's such a demand, are really jacking the price up. I guess that's the free market system, but it was funny because the demand for eggs had kind of dropped before. So a lot of the producers had cut back on chickens. So it's a little surprising that all of a sudden, you know. But anyway, evidently people know how to scramble eggs. So if they can't go out to eat, they're making eggs at home. So for the foreseeable future, eggs are going to be high. I know there was, like I say, this was 4.54, but there were places, I had kind of looked into this then out of curiosity, and there were places that the eggs were almost $6, and I'm sure that's probably going to go up from there, but I don't know how high it can go before people just won't buy eggs anymore. But it's kind of funny, weird things. Like also, I have heard, and I kind of looked into this too because I was curious about this, that garden seeds are going to be in short supply because there's a great demand on them, like 3 times the normal demand on them. People in places that never grew a garden before, I don't know if they're going to tear up their backyards or what the deal is, but everybody is thinking garden now because they're afraid that we're going to be short of food. I thought that was interesting, but there again, like this whole thing with the masks, they were all over before. I was surprised. I hadn't thought of it. I didn't realize I was doing it, but I actually had a box of those N95 masks. I had bought them, like 2 years ago when I was using the glass beater, because that silica dust is, very harmful, and they'll take that out. So I have some of them on hand, but I was just surprised that something that was so common, all of a sudden, great demand. I saw the same box of 20 that I have was on eBay for something like, well, it was hundreds of dollars, That's peculiar. And I took a couple of them out of the box. I'm going to carry in the vehicle because it was going to get to the point where, in order to get into certain places, you're going to have a mask on or some kind of cloth covering deal. Like there are stores now that they are taking your temperature at the door before they let you in. Yeah, okay. It's funny because it really isn't a problem around here. last I know, we don't even have any cases in the whole county, so it's, but at the same time, we're getting a lot of static. These states that aren't doing a mandatory shutdown, though we shut down everything anyway. You don't have to be told to do stuff like that. You don't need a federal mandate to do something. I think that's a slippery slope when they, and I can see why there's, what is it, like 10 or 11 governors that were refusing to do it or resisting to do it. But when you got a really rural state like this, very sparse population, the whole idea of having to shut everything down, you know, this isn't New York or LA. This is altogether different. We got nothing in common with you guys, so not a big deal. But like I say, everybody is using common sense in that we don't have to be told. We have the common sense not to infringe on somebody else's space. To me, that space is more like half mile. Because out here, a lot of times your nearest neighbor is like a half mile away. Any closer, you get a little uncomfortable. It's nice to have them like a mile away, and that's not unusual. So, but usually, if you can hear somebody in somebody else's yard, you're too damn close. So the odds of spreading this thing, we aren't hanging around in groups and stuff, but to make a federal mandate to do that, this seems totally unnecessary. But there's all these people in like New York are saying, oh, the fact that we don't have a mandated shutdown, that we're a threat to them. We are no threat to them. If anything, they are a threat to us, even though they are shut down. And them shutdowns are just silly anyway. It's just people are doing all the stuff, running around in groups anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, we aren't, they are, and they're shut down. So, there's too many loopholes in this. It isn't really but it's like that whole deal about, it's states' rights thing versus the federal mandate kind of thing. And it's right to be very hesitant about that. Like there are people saying, oh, you should just declare martial law. That's a hell of a step to take. You don't want to do that unless you really, really have to. That's a last desperate thing. You don't just declare martial law. That opens a whole can of worms. But people are funny. Anyway, we got no problems here. Like I'm sure we'll be up and going, even if we don't ever really technically have a shutdown, a mandated shutdown. Things will get back to normal here. I would say maybe a couple of months, maybe 3 months. I tell you, there are places like New York and LA, you're going to be looking at a year. And even then, when you say normal, you're never getting back to normal. The normal that you had going on was not a good thing anyway. So the idea that things are going to turn around and everything is going back to normal, no, that ain't going to happen. And I think that's only proper. I think you can't be living on top of each other like that, packed together. You're just asking for trouble. But anyway, what I was going to say about garden seeds, I think you really want to get them when you can. And another thing that I was thinking about earlier, I would kind of stock up on mosquito spray. I happened to think of this because I killed a mosquito about 3 days ago. I was sitting there reading, all of a sudden, here come a mosquito and landed on me. Well, I massacred him right away. But this has some things in common with malaria, which is spread by mosquitoes, and like your West Nile virus and all this stuff. If it can be spread by mosquitoes, that could become a very big problem, and then you could be very short of mosquito spray. So I would be thinking to get a little mosquito spray ahead. Don't go hoarding mosquito spray, but it's something to keep in mind before all of a sudden that disappears off the shelves. Because there are like, well, like I'm in North Dakota, Minnesota. It's land of 10,000 lake. Well, it's really 10,000 swamps, and that's a mosquito haven over there. The good thing, mosquitoes are a rather local animal. They aren't traveling a long ways. So, like for me, I'm far enough away that no mosquito is going to travel from me to somebody else. But you get in that lakes area, I think that could be a nightmare, or there's a great potential for it. So, I would say stock up or keep it in mind. But there's a lot of odd things that people don't think about that. But like the egg thing, I didn't see that coming, but it is true that anybody can cook an egg. That's like if you're going to learn to cook anything, you're going to learn to scramble an egg about first thing. So, yeah, it makes sense for people now. But I got to have chickens coming. That's the answer for that. But I got to think more on things that, I'm in pretty good shape though. Well, I'm actually in excellent shape, but like I say, the egg thing took me a little by surprise. But I would say garden seeds, heirloom seeds preferably. I've got a bunch of stuff from last year, so I'm all right. But I think you're going to find the store shelves empty of that stuff. There's a great potential for that. But like I say, this is going to be a long haul. Not so much for us in the middle of the country, in the flyover area. We're going to come out of this just fine. But you guys in them big cities, you're in for a long haul. Just stay there. That's all I'm asking. Just stay there.